would you have, how would you have responded to the protests of the Marikana workers?
Well, I would be saying this time and again, sometimes I sound arrogant. If I were there, they would not have a Marikana. I sound arrogant when I say, but I can assure you, there would be no Marikana if one was there.
But this is speaking exactly to the political interference, because he wasn't even in government at that time. He was a deputy minister of the ANC, and he was calling ministers.
In her testimony, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa was neither deputy minister nor deputy president of the ANC when Marikana happened. If the facts can just be correct. Thank you, Chair.
Would you have, how would you have responded to the protests of the Marikana workers?
Well, I would be saying this time and again, sometimes I sound arrogant. If I were there, they would not have a Marikana. I sound arrogant when I say, but I can assure you, there would be no Marikana if one was there. Maybe let's take this one. I don't know, I'm not defending Cyril on this one, but I don't know. Cyril was the member of the ANC, was not in government.
Yeah, that's
who's
what
the
I
president
said.
now. And then he speaks to the Minister of Police, as it happens even today, that people, they speak to the minister. And then the minister speaks to the National Commissioner, and Marikana happens. But the focus up to this day is more on Cyril rather than the minister and the National Commissioner that were there. I don't know how it changed to be that way. For me, I think, again, most of us were crying at the wrong funeral there. To say Cyril is maybe the letter that he wrote or the email, I don't know whether it was a letter.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yes, but he wrote it to somebody that had to moderate it in terms of implementation. I don't think that the letter from Cyril said, you go and shoot 34 people and die there. I don't think he said so. So I would love how it came about. Another very serious point about Marikana, all of us, we talk about 34 people. We don't talk about 10 people that died before that day, and brutally so. You know, the police that were killed there, and they were cut their manhood and all that kind of thing. We don't talk about that. But you want my opinion on the police shooting on that particular day. Let me give the story of the National Commissioner, who's almost 2 months in the job, and he surely has no understanding of the environment. Honorable Member, the operatives, the commanders, some of them, for sure, the person that was there, I think was Mawela, who was on the ORS, they went and briefed the National Commission and go to copies and sit on copies. He said, you go and fence that place, put the barbed wire, put the police inside. When the people come, put the tear gas on them. That's the first thing. Second thing you do, you go to the bus company and tell them to stop ferrying people there. And thirdly, have what you call disruptive arrest, those that were agitating and all that, do that thing. And as they left, he changed the whole plan. He told Commissioner Mbombo, who was the only female commissioner, provincial commissioner at the time, to say, you go and deal with them. You remember the morning statement that today is a D-Day. And that's how it came about. There were many ways of avoiding that kind of death. And it's unfortunate that it happens, and we must, as South Africans, stay with that blood stain for a very long time.
Former Minister, I know you're saying that you're not defending President Ramaphosa, and that we are that our focus hasn't been on the minister and the National Commissioner. But this is speaking exactly to the political interference because he wasn't even in government at that time. He was a deputy minister of the ANC and he was calling ministers. And he said there must be pointed action. So we can't downplay that.
Was that deputy minister of the ANC?
Yeah, he was deputy minister of the ANC at that time.
No.
Oh, deputy. Sorry,
No, he wasn't.
okay.
No, he wasn't.
Sorry, my bad. Deputy president of the ANC at that time.
No. Who was the deputy president of the country then?
I don't know who was. That.
Honorable Matthys, just hold a moment. Let me take Honorable Sangon.
No, Chair, I just want us to correct Honorable Matthys. We're not interrupting her testimony. Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa was neither deputy minister nor deputy president of the ANC when Marikana happened. If the facts can just be correct. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I stand corrected, but I thought you had just come out of a conference at that time, or he was. But I stand corrected. But I mean, that even makes it worse. He wasn't even in political leadership, and he was calling ministers, and ministers were responding to him. He also met with the Minister of Mineral Resources here in Cape Town in his own testimony. You don't have to respond to that, Minister Cele, but obviously you can.
To respond on the first one. I think deputy president of the ANC have been always deputy president of the country. So that's why I want to know who was the deputy president of the country then, because that would be the deputy president of the ANC. But Ramaphosa was not the deputy president. He was an NEC member.
Okay.
Was definitely an NEC member, but not deputy president.
Okay, I had my
Honorable
information
Ngola.
incorrect. I thought there was a gap between the election, the ANC conference, and then the country's elections, but I stand corrected. Thank you, ANC members.
Honorable Matthys, let's take Honorable Ngola.
Thank you.
No, Chair, just to also help that Marikana happened in August 2012. President Ramaphosa was elected Deputy President of the ANC in December 2012. Thank you, Chair.
NEC members of the ANC calling ministers. Thank you. Let's move on. Thank you. You said you've refused to take illegal and improper instructions, and this is why you were removed. I think I've dealt with that question. Do you think Riah Phiyega was thrown under the bus by the same politicians who entangled themselves in the SAPS operations that resulted in the Marikana massacre?
No. Before that, Honorable Member, I want to take a step back on this NEC members calling the ANC. The CIC sitting next to you there, on the issues of safety, we have met as I'm an ANC, as I'm a Minister of Police. But CIC, we have met. It would be so much irresponsible for me to say I'm not meeting the leaders when it comes. The leadership of the IFP, I've met Tlabisa as a president. I've met Holomisa as a president of UDM. And I just imagine the minister saying I'm not meeting the politicians. That would be a hell of a minister. So because all of us, we have one minister. Otherwise we say, you have your EFF minister, you have your UDM minister, you have... So that can't be out of order when political leaders have an access to ministers. It doesn't matter. If you become a minister tomorrow, I'll look at you, social welfare, and ask my 350 from you. So definitely it can't be out of order that political leaders have an access to ministers.
Okay, but we're not saying that it's out of order for the access, but the level of access and even the emails that are even calling for pointed action, it was quite specific. But I think we can move on from there.
I agree on that. We can move on.
Minister, that was excessive involvement, was almost like a directive. Let's talk about whether you think Riah Phiyega was thrown under the bus by these same politicians who entangled themselves in the operations. The Marikana SAPS operations.
About the operation or about the whole appointment?
No, the operations during the whole
He thrown
Marikana
himself under
thing.
the bus.
She threw herself.
Yes.
She wasn't thrown.
She
also.
threw herself under the bus. I'm saying
Oh, okay.
she had a good night before when the operatives, the generals, they went to brief her how to handle the situation. And in the morning, there was an announcement to say today is a D-Day, opposing all the briefings that had happened the previous night. So she was given the way out, and she opted to not to ride the bus, but to go under it.
So do you think she did that because she was directed by the politicians?
I wouldn't know then. Why so?